Hello and welcome to SudoKanard. We are here to solve this Renban Sudoku by British author Tom Collyer for the recent Sudoku Grand Prix, and I must say that this puzzle was my favorite in the whole round. It's really a really beautiful construction. So first let me explain the rule. The special rule of Renban is that every time you have such an area, a shaded area, it must contain digits that are all different. Well, this would be forced by the usual rules of Sudoku, but it's not always like this. So I was saying the digits must be all different and they must form a set of consecutive digits. So for example, here we could have 4, a 6 and a 5. Those are 3 consecutive digits in any order. And that's it, plus obviously the usual rules of Sudoku. So where do we begin? I'm noticing that this 4 and this 4 force a 4 in those cells, into those cells. So that's something of interest, I think. There's also a 4 somewhere in here. And there must be a 4 somewhere in here, but that doesn't seem to be so powerful at this point. Now, where else can we look? So, if this is a 4, then the consecutive will be with 4, 5, and 6. Perhaps this is more powerful. Oh, no, more powerful is those two 4s, which force a 4 into those two cells. So here we have a set of 3 consecutive digits containing a 4. So they could be 2, 3, 4, 4, 5, 6, or 3, 4, 5. 3, 4, and 5. That's not saying so much after all. But this 8 and this 9 are more interesting because they are not in here, so they must all appear in here. Plus we have an 8 here, so there will be an 8 in here. And the interesting point here is that wherever I put the 9, the corresponding set will have to be 9, 8, and 7. And we know because of this that 8 won't be here, so the 9 will be with the 8. So the 9 will be, oops, sorry, that's the other way around. 8 is removed from there, so 9 is removed from there. So we have a 9, 8 here, or 9, 8 there. So that's something of interest. And there will have to be a 7 in here. I don't remember doing that. I had found something else when I solved the puzzle. But whatever. Well, this is kind of interesting because now those digits can't include a 4 and they can't include a 7. So knowing that 7 is not in here, we can't have a 9 or an 8 in there. If I have a 9 or an 8, I must have a 7 with the consecutive rule. And we can't have a 5 or a 6 either, because if I try to put a 5 in here, without a 4, it will have to be with a 6 and a 7. And 6 will have to be with 5 and 7, or with 7 and 8. So we can't have 5 nor 6, so the 5 must be somewhere in here, in the coin. And the only digits here can be 1, 2, and 3. And I can see also that 8 must be somewhere in here. That's not a 3. So that's really neat. And knowing that here this is 1 or 2, none of those digits can be in here. Well, actually, we can't have 1 or 2 in here because of the 3, just because of that. Or something I could have noticed right from the get-go is that because of these 2, there's no 2 in here, so there must be a 2 somewhere in there. And if I try to put the 2 in here, then 2 will always be with a 3 along the Renban, because it will have to be 1, 2, 3 or 2, 3, 4. So 2 can't be in here because of this 3, and there has to be a 2 in here. And because because of what I said, there has to be a 3 on this Renban, and 3 is not. And this 3 forces the 3 into this cell, so that's not a 3, and that's a 3 in this column. Right? And this 3 tells us that this is not 1, 2, 3. Actually, this 1 or 2 already told us as much. So now the second 1 or 2 must be somewhere in here. But it won't be here. If I try to put a 1 or a 2 here, there has to be a 3 along the Renban for the same reason. So the second 1 or 2 on this row can only be here, and it's not a 2, so that's a 1, that's a 2, that's a 1. So those now must be 5, 6, 7, or 6, 7, 8. So they need a 6 and a 7. And the remaining digit is here, that's a 5 or an 8. Now what about this? You know that there's a 2, a 3, and the third digit is either 1 or 4. And so the two options are with 2 here and 1 there, or 2 here and 4 there. Now 4 here would work with the 5 and the 6. 8 here would remove the 4 from there. Oh, but actually, 1 is not in here. And 1 is not in here. With a 5 or an 8, I could never have a 1 as 3 consecutive digits here. So the 1 must be here, and that's a 2. And the 4 is pushed into this cell. So that has to be the 5, and that has to be the 6. And here I get 5, 7, 9, triple. On this column now, 8 can only be here, so that's not 8, and that is 8. With digits from 6, 7, and 9, so that's either 8, 7, 9, or 6, 8, and 7. And that's not a 6. And my pencil marks here are wrong. They've been wrong since the beginning. So the 9 is in here, and the 8 is in here. And that's not a 9. And there is definitely a 7 among them. Now there must be a 2. 2 can only be here. And then this is a 6. And here we have 6, 7, and 8. 2 can't be anywhere here because of this 3, so that's a 2. And because of this 6, 5 has to go here. I couldn't have the 5 along this, because it would have to be next with a 4 or a 6. So this is a 7, 8, 9 triple. That's not 9, that's not 8 by Sudoku. This 5 is not here, so this 5 must be in here. And because 4 is there, this is a 5, 6, 7 triple. So that this is 9, this is 7, this is 8. And an interesting point here is that we have 3 instances of 7, so we can't have 7 anywhere else on those columns. But there is a 7 in here. That's not saying so much, I'm afraid. But I'm seeing that this 7 is not in here, so in this box 7 must be here, so that's a 6. And that's not a 6, obviously. And 6 is in here, and this is 5 or 9. I must have a 1 and a 2 up there. Well, looking at this, the remaining digits here are 1, 2, 3, 4. 4 is in here, so that's a 1, and that's a 2, 3, 4 triple. And with this 2 here, that's a 3, 4, and 2. Nice. Here I need 7 and 9. And so 7 and 9 must be in here. And that's a 6. Alright. So now this one. Now I need 4, 5, and 9 in here. So this is 4 or 5. Sorry about that. Oh, I'm saying that this can't be a 7 because of this pair. Let's look at this. Here I need 1, 2, and 6, which is very powerful. That's not a 2, but it can't be a 1 because I would need 2 and 3 here. So that's a 6. That's not a 6 up there. And 6, 7, 8 will never work because of that. And I know there is a 7 in here, so those must be 5 and 4. 5 and 4, so that's not 5. That's not a 4. 4 goes there. And this one in the column must be here. Those are 3 and 5, and there's a 3 here. And this 5 actually makes this a 7, and it resolves a lot, I'm afraid. I'm afraid is not necessarily a good choice of words. This is 2 and 5, there's a 5 here. So this is now resolved, and here I need a 1 and a 3, using this 3. This is 6, 7, 8, so 7 here, 6 and 8 there. We're getting there. There is a 7 here, pencil marked very early, so that's a 9. Here I need 1, 3, and 9. So this can only be a 9, that's a 1, that's a 3. Now this is not a 9 anymore, so that's the 9, that's the 8, and that's the 7. On this row, 8 can't be here just by the rules of Sudoku, and because this 8 made this a 6. So this is now 5, 6, 7. 7 can only be here. 5, 6, that's a 4, that's a 1, and that has to be a 5. I think that's it. Alright, so really a beautiful puzzle, not that easy. The 59 points were well deserved, I think. But I really love the way this is all intertwined. And I'm thinking that when you create such a puzzle, you must have the impression that it will never work, because this is so tight. But it worked, and it was really, really fun. Thanks for watching this video, and see you soon on SudoKanard.